Could just give us an introduction into MT education?
Okay, so I am a qualified assessor, and where I was at Sassoon before I left to open my own salon 7 years ago, I did all their teaching, and I loved helping other hairdressers fall back in love with cutting hair. Like how we help clients to feel confidence and to make them feel the best versions of themselves. As hairdressers, we are very good at that. But the hairdressers then tend to put themselves down. And what I realised was that a lot of people had gaps in the knowledge. It didn't matter their level, whether they were a senior stylist or a junior. They had gaps in their knowledge from the MVQ being a tick box. Maybe models weren't available. Maybe it was on a blockhead. Maybe the model let them down. But everybody seemed to have gaps. So when I opened my salon and I started to take on staff, so I opened my salon with just myself, and I've now got a team of 15. I had to retrain every single member, whether they were coming to me as a manager or as a new talent stylist. So I realised that this must be happening in the industry as a whole, that people are struggling with hair cutting. They haven't got the confidence. They're missing things. And that's why then I launched the MT Masterclass, to be able to help hairdressers gain their confidence in cutting hair.
What were you noticing that they were struggling with?
I think what we noticed they were struggling with was the confidence to do transformations or short haircuts, or they don't know what's going to suit their client. It was things that I took for granted that I just knew how to do. For example, a bob. Most hairdressers are struggling with how to cut any different type of bob, or how to lay around the client's face. Maybe they can do a little bit of shaping, but they're struggling to keep the length and add the layers through. It's all different types of struggles, but everyone had something that they couldn't do.
How do you think trends of recent times have maybe impacted the struggles with haircutting?
For a long time, people have invested in colour education, balayage, baby lights, teasy lights, and colour has been big, and it can make you a lot of money as a hairdresser, being able to be a really good colourist. But the question that you should be asking yourself is, can you cut hair as well as you can colour? Because hair cutting, from a business point of view, doesn't cost you anything. You are not using any products. It's your time. You can make a hell of a lot of money as a hairdresser if you can cut hair really well. And that's what I want to get across to people. But that is what scares people the most. With a colour, you can correct it, as long as you've not snapped it off. But with a cut, you've got to really know what you're doing. That's what I feel we're missing in the industry, is it's simple, beautiful hair that your clients are going to want, broken down into salon timings and how to do it.
So you talk about this education. Is this purely in-person MT workshop education?
So we started off with it being in person because as hairdressers, we're very practical. We want to get our hands on the hair. So in our masterclasses, we start off and there's myself and my two other educators, Joe and Sarah. The reason we have 3 people is because hairdressers get bored. We are not used to being sat down. So we have 3 haircuts going on at the same time whilst they're watching in the morning as a live demonstration. We show a long, a short, and a medium length haircut so that people can zone in on what they want to watch. Then in the afternoon, we have a hands-on session where they can practice what they'd like to practice on, what they need help with, what they're struggling with, and we can create a really bespoke education for them in that workshop. We also have Sarah, who's a left-handed cutter, because so many left-handed people that have come on our course didn't even know left-handed scissors existed. We're really helping transform these hairdressers' lives. But then we had so many messages from Brazil, South Africa, China, who wanted to learn from us and asked if we could record our workshop. So then that got me on to thinking, I want to make this more accessible and easier for hairdressers all around the world to be able to have us in their back pocket for when a client gets booked in the chair and they're panicking in the staff room, to be able to think, oh, Melissa showed us that